But before I go any further, I just wanted to comment on the announcement made by Honda this morning that their Swindon plant will close in 2021. Now, I'm not going to pretend to an audience of manufacturers that this is anything other than a very bitter blow. And I think the thoughts of everyone in this room are with the dedicated workforce and the suppliers of what has been a phenomenally successful business and has done so much for UK manufacturing during its time here. And so our message to everyone affected by Honda's closure is that we value intensely your skills. We completely understand the challenges that you face, and we will do everything that we possibly can to support every single person in the community, in the workforce, in the supply chain, to make sure that their skills and their ingenuity will find expression and application in the years ahead. You know that every decision that you make on prices, on cash flow, on logistics, and investment has real consequences for the hundreds of thousands, indeed millions of people that you employ. And I've been always quite clear that a situation in which our manufacturers don't have the certainty that they need about the terms under which over two-thirds of our trade will be conducted in less than 40 days' time is unacceptable. It needs to be brought to a conclusion and without further delay. I think there's been a national education in the realities of just-in-time production and integrated supply chains that the whole country has learned, but very much pioneered through the evidence that you've supplied to Stephen and has been deployed through the EEF. That shaped the crucial objective of maintaining frictionless trade, and that remains front and centre in our aims for the future economic partnership with the EU. And yet, as important as all this is, I can't stand here today and claim to you that all of your requirements have been resolved. To do that, we need to have a deal, because leaving the EU without one would, in my view, be a disaster for the whole country. In the survey that EEF, Make UK, published just last week, two-thirds of manufacturing employers said that no deal would result immediately in price increases on products, whilst almost one-third of manufacturers said that no deal has implications for jobs. Now, some people, when you voice these concerns, describe this as Project Fear. But for me, as knowing the familiarity that you have with the reality of running manufacturing operations and employing millions of people around the UK, I think it is better described as Project Reality. And the reality is that yesterday, the first freighter that will arrive after the 29th of March set off from Felixstowe, bound for Japan, with no clarity on the terms under which its cargo will be admitted when it reaches its destination. That is, I know, unacceptable to you, and it's unacceptable to me. And for me, this shows how absolutely essential it is to conclude the arrangements with a deal in the weeks ahead. And not on the last minute, on the 28th of March, but as soon as possible. Because no one should regard waiting to the last moment when you are making decisions now that have consequences for many weeks and months ahead as acceptable.
In terms of inputting your thoughts into the big issues of the day, not only around Brexit, but on automotive.
I can't tell you the exact proportion, Andrew, but what I can tell you is, unfortunately, not all of the FTAs, and I might mention the Japan and Korean ones that are important, are expected to be concluded in that time. That is one of the reasons why I think it is so important that we should not leave without a deal. That would mean that those agreements did not roll over, but it reinforces the absolute requirement that we should leave with a deal and that we should do so quickly so that we don't have the jeopardy of those ships currently on the water, not knowing how they'll be treated when they arrive.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate it. Thank you.